Terminator Salvation for just $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
Hi guys, Keeter64 here, and today we're talking physical media because it's Physical Media Tuesday, and I just got back from the used bookstore and I got this entire stack for just $50. It is probably the best single pickup I've ever had out on physical media. It's insane, and I got 2 Disney Movie Club exclusives in here. That's right, I found Disney Movie Club exclusives out in the wild for the first time. Like I said, probably the best pickup I've ever had, so I'm looking forward to going through this with you guys. And what I want to do something a little bit different in this video, which is give you guys a price counter in the corner, so that way I can go through and actually show you how much each individual movie was, adding up to $50. So with all that said, let's go and jump into it. And the first thing up is a movie called War Dogs, starring Miles Teller and Jonah Hill. I have seen this movie, but I haven't seen it since it came out in 2016 or 2017 timeframe. I remember it being pretty good. This was actually the first movie I saw Miles Teller in, and I actually saw this one before Whiplash. So, and Miles Teller was also in a TV show called The Offer, which came out last year about the making of The Godfather, and it was a really great series. I wish I should have done a video on it. I don't know why I didn't do a video on it. Maybe I'll do one at a later time. But yeah, Miles Teller, Jonah Hill, this is probably one of his best performances. Again, it doesn't get talked about too much because the movie's not super memorable. It is loosely based on a true story. If you think like Lord of War, if you guys ever seen Lord of War with Nicolas Cage, similar to that, but loosely based on a true story. One of Jonah Hill's best performances. Like it's up there with like his performance in Wolf of Wall Street, I think. And it was only $2, so throw $2 down there on the counter. Next up is a movie that is one of my guilty pleasures, one of my really favorite sports movies, I think. And it stars Kevin James, and it's not Paul Blart Mall Cop. It is Kevin James' best movie, in my opinion. Here Comes the Boom. I really like this one. This one always makes me feel good when I watch it. I've seen it probably about 5 times. I've watched it on streaming services over the years, but obviously I've never owned it. A really good movie. Kevin James wants to help out Henry Winkler, who is the music teacher. The music program's going to get shut down, and Kevin James basically plays kind of a slacker teacher who, you know, finds a purpose. And it's actually a really good movie. And he fights. He actually. Kevin James fights in the UFC.
Let them fight.
It is really good. I actually like it a lot. I don't really hear anybody else talking about this one, but this is definitely one of my favorite sports movies and my favorite Kevin James movie. So yeah, Here Comes the Boom is good, I think. And it was only $2. Next up is a movie called Tomorrowland. Now, this is obviously a Disney live action movie based on the land in Disney World and Disneyland, Tomorrowland. And the premise was interesting for this. It had some interesting moments. I saw this in theaters when it first came out years and years ago, but I've not seen it since then. From what I remember, the first half was pretty good, and then the second half, it fell apart. That's what I remember about this movie. But again, I've only seen it the one time. I figured I'd give it another shot, throw another $2 down there in the corner. We're up to $6 now on the counter. But let me know what you guys think about Tomorrowland. Did you guys ever check it out? Do you guys remember it? Do you like it? Nobody really talks about this movie. I think it's a massive missed opportunity. But yeah, Tomorrowland for $2. I figured I'd give it another shot. Next up is a quintessential early 2000s action movie. And it's not Ben Affleck's Daredevil. It is Bulletproof Monk with Chow Yun-Fat. I remember seeing this in theaters back in the day, and they also used to show it on cable after it came out. It was I remember it being pretty fun. I haven't seen it in more than a decade. I guarantee you it is dated in the sense that when you watch it, it's going to feel early 2000s, because I watched it in probably 2008 or 2009 was the last time I saw this movie. And even then I was like, this movie kind of feels dated, and that was in 2009. So I don't imagine how it feels now. But it's still kind of a fun action movie. Like, this is the type of movie that you're flipping through the channels on cable and you find, you're like, oh yeah, I guess I'll watch this. But I figured I'd pick it up. Only $2. We're up to $8 now on the counter. Also stars Sean William Scott and Jamie King. I'm interested in going back and rewatching it just because it's been so long since I've seen it.
What if the movie sucks?
Next up is Predators. That's right. I actually think this movie is pretty underrated. I went back and rewatched it. I rewatched all of the Predator movies in anticipation of Prey, which was a Hulu release last year, and a pretty good movie. I thought it was surprisingly good. However, I think Predators is pretty underrated. I think this one's pretty good. If it's been a while since you've seen it or you've never seen it, they basically take a bunch of, warrior mercenaries, soldiers and stuff, and they throw them on a predator planet and the predators hunt them. And that's the premise. And it's pretty fun. I mean, it's a pretty good Predator movie in my mind. It just kind of changes the scenario and the setting from the first Predator movie. But Adrian Brody, I think he was the miscast in here. I think if you had a stronger actor in here, maybe Gerard Butler at the time, I think would have been a good choice. I feel like this movie probably would have been better received because Adrian Brody's just hard to buy in this as the main character in this action movie. That's pretty much, I think, why a lot of people don't remember it as much and never really gave it a chance. But it is a good movie, and I didn't own it, so I figured, you know what? Go ahead and pick it up. So our counter's at $10 right now. We're about to add another $3. That's right. It's not a $2 movie. It's a $3 movie, and it's not even a movie. It is a TV show. It is Arrow Season 1. I actually was a fan of Arrow and The Flash in the earlier seasons. Yes, the first season of Arrow feels like they wanted to do a Batman movie, but they just took the Green Arrow instead. But I remember it being pretty good. I haven't gone back and rewatched it in a very long time. So, I figured $3, why not? I already own the first season of The Flash, so I figured $3, I'll own the first season of Arrow 2. Even if I only go back and watch a few episodes, it was kind of hard to pass up $3 for a full season on Blu-ray. We're at $13. Guess what? Throw another $1 down there. That's right, because I got Terminator Salvation for just $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I already own Terminator Genesis, so I gotta own Terminator Salvation. If you're like me, you probably think T2 was the height. To me, Terminator 2 was the best Terminator. Then it's probably the first one. And then I probably would go with Terminator 3 next. Then Salvation, because they pretty much all go progressively downhill from there. At least Terminator Salvation tried to do something a little bit different. And did it succeed? A little bit. They definitely ruined the twist in the trailer. If you remember back when this came out, they reveal a big twist in the movie in the trailer, which is synonymous with the Terminator trailers. They always ruin the twist in the trailers. But regardless, it was only $1. I already own the other Terminator movies. This was the only one I'm missing, besides Dark Fate, which I will never buy and never watch again. Terminator Salvation for $1. I think it's worth it. Next up is one of many Robin Hood movies. This one is just called Robin Hood with Russell Crowe. It's also reunited Ridley Scott. So Ridley Scott, Russell Crowe, if you want a Gladiator-esque type of movie, but you don't want to see Gladiator, this is probably a good little change of pace, I guess. I saw this when it first came out in theaters. I thought it was all right. I thought it was okay, like medieval adventure, action adventure movie, mostly just an action movie with a period setting. But I never really got Robin Hood feels from this, and also Russell Crowe was a little out of shape, at least in comparison to his previous time in Gladiator. But again, I haven't seen this one in about a decade, and it was only $2. So throw another $2 down on the counter. I think it's all right. What do you guys think? This is definitely better than the Taron Egerton Robin Hood movie that came out. Just my opinion.
This is better! Much better!
Next up is another guilty pleasure movie for me. Roland Emmerich. It's not Moonfall, okay? It's not Moonfall. Unfortunately, I already own Moonfall. It's back on the shelf back there. This is the Roland Emmerich movie of Roland Emmerich movies. It is 2012. I love this movie. This is my favorite Roland Emmerich disaster movie. I've seen it countless times. It's a great popcorn movie. It's so over the top, off the wall. I have fun every time I watch it. Like this is why, like when I try and think why some people like the Transformers movies after the first one, I get it. This is a dumb popcorn movie. I like it. It's fun. I actually already own it. But the copy that I own, I got from the Blockbuster online. One of the stores was going out of business and they were just selling the discs from the online store. So I only have the disc. So I didn't have the box. Plus I didn't have the special features, which they had on a separate disc. And this one was only $2. So I figured, you know what? $2. I like this movie. I rewatch it probably at least once a year for fun. And yeah, why wasn't I going to pick it up? Plus, I can check out the special features for one. Next up is 42, the Jackie Robinson story. And yeah, I like sports movies. Sports movies can be pretty cookie cutter and generic at times, but I don't care. I usually have fun watching them. I think the fact that they are so predictable and follow a specific path is kind of what I like about them. I kind of know what I'm going to get regardless. And no matter what sports movie you get, you're kind of getting different flavors within that genre. And 42 is a really good movie. It's a period movie, which I like. And a really good story about Jackie Robinson. Obviously, it's in the title, but it stars Chadwick Boseman. This was obviously pre-Black Panther. So when he was cast as Black Panther, I was like, oh, dude, the guy who played Jackie Robinson. So that's cool. Also, Harrison Ford is in this movie in a pretty good role. I think he did pretty good in this movie as well. And I actually have a buddy who is a background character in this movie. So I think that's pretty cool.
I'm kind of a big deal.
But yeah, add it to the sports movie section. What do we have next? Well, next is a TV show. And it is the final season, the 7th season of
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. That's right, Boy Meets World. Obviously, I talked about picking up season 3 in my last physical media collection video. This one is the 7th season. I've been building out this season individually. I already own season 4, 5, and 6 because those were my favorite like seasons within Boy Meets World. I'm a big fan of Boy Meets World. It's one of my favorite sitcoms of all time. I've met the entire cast. Probably my favorite moment was when I got to meet Will Friedle, who plays Eric Matthews, and I wore a shirt that says Eric Matthews for president. Life's tough. Get a helmet.
Oh, life's tough. Get a helmet.
One of my favorite convention moments, and he was really cool to meet. He actually had a Batman Beyond ringtone when his phone rang when I was talking to him. And obviously he voiced Terry McGinnis, Batman Beyond, from the Batman Beyond animated series. So it's always cool when like actors actually like the stuff that they're a part of. So I thought that was cool. He was a really cool guy to talk to. And the final season, now that I own it, I only need season 1 and 2, and then I own all of the seasons. This will probably never be on Blu-ray, so I am fine picking up the DVDs. The quality is not the greatest, but like I said, I don't think they're going to upgrade the picture quality to a Blu-ray. I don't think we're ever going to get a Blu-ray release, so why not just go ahead and pick it up? The final season, I think, is one of the weaker seasons for me personally because they made Eric Matthews into such an idiot. They made him such a dumb character in the later seasons. That's one of the things I didn't like about the later seasons, but there are some really good episodes in here. And I haven't gone back to like watch the last season in a while. Normally when I go watch seasons and episodes, I go from that middle sections. And as I said, $5. So right now we are at $25 for this entire stack. Next up is a DVD Steelbook, the only DVD Steelbook that I own. Obviously I've been collecting Steelbooks, and I've talked about Steelbooks many times on the channel. I like Steelbooks. Never had a DVD Steelbook, much less a DVD Steelbook that's a documentary. NASA, When We Left Earth, the NASA missions. Really cool Steelbook. I was very surprised to find this. The runtime on this is like 258 minutes. Multiple different episodes, narrated by Gary Sinise.
Lieutenant Dan, ice cream.
That's right, it is narrated by Lieutenant Dan himself, Gary Sinise, who's a really cool guy who does a lot to help veterans. And honestly, I've been a fan of NASA since I watched the Flight of the Navigator back in the day. That was my earliest memory of like finding out what NASA was Fly the Navigator. And I do own other documentaries and some other things on the space missions and NASA missions. Big fan of NASA, SpaceX, all that stuff. Really interesting stuff they do. I've like I said, science fiction is my favorite genre of all time. You may have guessed that by the Star Trek reviews I do a lot of. And I can't wait to check this one out. I'm curious as to how good it looks, only because since it's a DVD, I don't know how well it's going to be up converted, but we'll wait and see. Really great pickup, $5. So that puts us at $30 on the counter. So we're at $30 on the counter, but there's only 2 movies left. So that's right. I paid $10 each for just these movies, which is obviously far expensive than what you've seen so far, but that's because these are Disney Movie Club exclusives. So what is the Disney Movie Club? Well, the Disney Movie Club is one of those programs that you sign up for and you have to buy like 5 or 10, I don't know exactly how many it is. You have to buy X amount of full retail priced new Disney Blu-ray. So it has to be newer movies, newer releases, and you have to pay full retail price through their program. And if you do that, that maintains your membership, and then you get access to their back catalog of Blu-rays. Lots of they're basically almost all of their live action back catalog of movies is locked behind this this Disney Movie Club like paywall, and I'm not a fan of it. If it was you should pay X amount and you get access to this, maybe, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of them locking away classic live action movies behind this movie club. Never have been. But this is the first time I've ever seen them out in the wild for me to get. Even at $10, these things go for $25 to $30 on eBay regularly. Because, again, the only way you get access to them is if you're part of this club. If you just want to buy a movie, the only way to do it is to go through eBay and buy it secondhand. What are the 2 movies that I found? The first one is The Mighty Ducks. That's right, Mighty Ducks, as well as D2 and D3, are locked behind the Disney Movie Club paywall. I don't know, I would call it a paywall. Regardless, I got this $10, add that to the counter. Hot take, I actually like D2, The Mighty Ducks, better than the first one. I think that's kind of a hot take. I don't know, but I do like the second one. I think it's the best one out of the 3. But I definitely like the first Mighty Ducks. I grew up with the Mighty Ducks. I love all these like, kids sports movies from the 90s. That's what I grew up on. Sandlot, Little Giants, Big Green, and of course the Mighty Ducks. Never played hockey in my life, but I always loved the Mighty Ducks. I did play a bunch of other sports, but never played hockey. There you go. Now we're at $40 on the counter. The last $10 was spent on a very classic, nostalgic Disney movie that many of you may remember. It is Holes with Shia LaBeouf, Sigourney Weaver, great all-star cast. This movie, when I first saw it, I was like, man, this is kind of dark for like a Disney movie. There's lots of dark elements in this movie, but it works. It's very nostalgic. It's very unique. It's a lot different than a lot of the other live action Disney movies that came out. And I think that's what made it stand out so much, right? Obviously based on a book. I never read the book, but I remember people were saying, hey, well, it's not as good as the book. Well, I mean, that usually is how it goes, isn't it? Regardless, I can't wait to see this again. I haven't seen Holes in, probably like 10 years.
Hey, phrasing!
It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, so I'm definitely looking forward to checking out this one. And with that, we are at $50. This entire stack of movie for $50. Great pickups. I wanted to do a video just talking about this because, as I said, this is the best single pickup of physical media in one visit that I've ever had. I mean, this is great deal, great pickups. I hope I can find some more Disney Movie Club exclusives from the used bookstore. Those almost never are found out in the wild. So I would love to find some more. I'd love to get Fly the Navigator. That's probably my holy grail for Disney Movie Club exclusives. Also, Escape to Witch Mountain, I think, would be a good pickup. That's also one of those. At this rate, the only way you can see those movies is if you're subscribed to Disney Plus. But I would much rather own it physically so I can dump that platform. But as I said, pretty good variety here, particularly Tomorrowland. I'm curious of what you guys think of. But what did you guys think about any of the stuff that I picked up here? Let me know in the comments below. I always like talking about physical media. There's always a bunch of different movies and things I get to talk about. And I love seeing the comments because there's so many different things that, might catch your eye that you guys might be interested in talking about. So definitely comment and let me know. I really just want to thank everybody for checking out this video. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm True 64, and I'll always tell you the truth.